So this one is Solving Systems of Elimination Part 3. We've done Part 1 and 2 already. So first we're going to look at which one does not belong in this system of equations. Okay, so D doesn't belong because the formatting is different for this equation right here. Okay, because this one's in slope-intercept form. And all of the other equations are in standard form. Okay. What other one doesn't belong? Like, okay, so C, because one of them has a negative. Which one's negative?
9.
We have a -9, we have a -2x, and we have a -5x, or 5y. So there's a negative for every type of term here. So there's 3 negatives. This one has all positives. Then we have this one over here. Let's see here. What would happen if I added these two together? It'd be 0. What is that called whenever we add or subtract something and it goes to 0? It's elimination. You remember that? So you're able to eliminate the y. All right. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and go to the next part. That's good enough. So 16.2, we're examining equation pairs. So here are some equations, and we are going to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept of the graph of the equations. Then we're also going to find the slope of each equation. So let's look at number 1. We are going to do x-intercept, y-intercept, and slope. How do I find my x-intercept? Okay. All you have to do is plug in a 0 for the y. So if you want to put it up here, put y equals 0. And for y-intercept, x equals 0. So if I plug in a 0 for my y right here, what does x equal? 6. So whenever you guys are finding an x or y intercept, I want you to remember to put them as a coordinate pair. So it's always going to be 6, 0, like that. What do you think our y-intercept is going to be if x is 0? 6. So it's going to be 0, 6. What's my slope going to be? How do I find my slope? So it's whatever's attached to your x when you put it in slope-intercept form. Another way we can find slope, hopefully you guys have heard this before, is to the change in change in y. Let me rewrite that. Over the change in x. You guys remember doing that at all? No? Okay, so you should do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Does that sound more familiar? Let me move this out from there. What? Let's move that there. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our points that we have already and we're just going to plug it in. So we have 6, 0, and 0, 6. So I'm going to make my y-intercept be the 2, and the x be the 1. So the x-intercept. So we're going to take, let's see here. So 6 minus, so let's see here. Let me make sure I'm doing this real good. Okay, so the 6 came from here. And we're subtracting 0 from here. Then we'll do the x's. So again, we're going to start with the same coordinate pair, so the 0 from there, and subtract the 6 from here. So 6 minus 0 is what? It's 6. What is 0 minus 6? Negative 6. What's 6 divided by negative 6? What does that simplify to be?
1.
Positive or negative?
Positive.
Negative. Slope's going to be negative 1. So that was one way you could find your slope. We'll do the other way on the other equation. So we have the first equation done. Let's look at the other one. Let's do the x-intercept, y-intercept, and slope. How do I find my x-intercept? How do I do that?
So when you find the x-intercept, do you have to solve the equation, or is it just...
All you have to do is plug in y equals 0 and solve for the x. So for the x-intercept, let me zoom in right here. So we're going to say 2x plus 2 times y, or not y, 2 times 0. So we're going to change that to a 0 equals 12. What's 2 times 0?
0.
Okay, so we get 2x equals 12. What do I do to solve for x?
Divided by 2.
So x equals, okay, so what's my final coordinate for the x-intercept?
6, 0.
Okay. What do I do for my y-intercept? What do I plug in?
Another 0.
And plug in a 0 for the x. Okay. 2 times 0, we know that's 0, it goes away. Then we get 2y equals 12. Then we divide by 2 on both sides and get y equals 6. So my final coordinate for the y-intercept is going to be 0, 6. Do you guys notice anything here? It's the same. So I want you guys to see that, how to do the slope-intercept form again for this equation. So we're going to do it over here. So 2x plus 2y equals 12. What is slope-intercept form?
Y equals next plus b.
Okay, so we're going to subtract our 2x from both sides and get 2y equals negative 2x plus 12. Then we're going to divide by 2 on both sides to get our y by itself. We get negative 2x divided by 2, so we get negative x plus 12 divided by 2 is 6. What's my slope? So it's going to be negative 1. What's attached to the x? So both of these had the exact same thing. All right. Let's skip 2. Then let's do so you should get the same thing on both sides. So what do you notice about the pairs of equations? They should be the exact same line. They have the same slope and x and y intercepts. Okay, so now it says for us to write the equations in slope-intercept form. We already did that up here on this one that I did earlier. And we should get the same equations when we do that. So let's actually do number 5 for number 2 that we skipped. So I'm going to write down 3y minus 15x equals negative 33. And y minus 5x equals negative 11. So I'm going to zoom in here. First thing I notice on my equation on the left is that every one of those numbers is divisible by 3. So I'm going to do this to where I'm going to divide everything by 3 first. To make it to where I don't have anything attached to my y. And I can already see that I have the exact same equation by just dividing by that 3. We took out the like term, still the same equation. I'm going to add 5x to both sides.
Why are we dividing by 33?
So we're not dividing by 33 because 33 would not go into 3. Because I know that 3 will go into 3 one time. And I know that 3 will go into 15 5 times. And 3 will go into 33 11 times. So because I noticed that all of those have a common factor, I can pull it out. Okay? So we get y equals 5x minus 11. Then we'll do the same thing over here, and we'll get the same thing. Okay? So they're the exact same equation, so they're going to have the same intercepts and the same slope. Okay? So that should be what we're noticing here. Same y-intercept, same slope. Okay? If pulling out the 3 at the beginning confuses you, you can go ahead and just do it the normal way and then divide by the 3 whenever you get the y isolated. But either way. All right, let's go on to the next page. Oops, nope, I'm good. So, making the coefficient. For each question, let's see here. We want to answer, what number did you multiply the equation by to get the target coefficient? What is the new equation after the original has been multiplied by that value? So, we want to multiply this equation here on number 1 so that the coefficient of x is 9. Which number is my coefficient on x in the original equation? So my x has a coefficient of 3 originally. What do I multiply by 3 to get 9? 3. So we're going to multiply the whole equation by 3. So 3 times 3x is 9x. 3 times 4y is 12y, and 3 times 8 is 24. So what number did we multiply to get the equation by to get the target coefficient? We multiplied by 9, or not 9, 3. Okay, what is the new equation after the original has been multiplied by that value? That's what that is right there. All right, number 2. We have the equation 8x plus 4y equals negative 16, so that the coefficient, so we're multiplying it so that it has the coefficient of y is 1. What is our coefficient on y right now?
4.
4. How do I get 4 to be 1?
Minus 3. Divide by 4.
Divide by 4. So if we're dividing by 4, what do I multiply by? It's one of those things you guys really don't like. Starts with an F.
Fraction.
A fraction. We're going to multiply by 1/4. Multiplying by 1/4, sorry, you can't really see that. I'm going to erase that and redo that. Is that easier to see? Yes. Okay. So if we multiply by 1/4, that's the same as dividing by 4. So what is 1/4 of 8?
2.
2. 2x. 1/4 times 4y. What is that? What is 1/4 times 4? Or what is 1/4 of 4?
2.
1. So if you're struggling with this fraction thing, think of it as 4 divided by 4, because we have a 1 on the top. So what's 4 divided by 4?
1.
1. So we can say 1y, or we can just say y, either way. So what is negative 16 divided by 4? What's 16 divided by 4?
4.
4. So we just write down 4 and keep the negative. So that's the second question. What do we multiply by?
1/4.
Yeah. All right. We're going to multiply the equation 5x minus 7y equals 11 so that the coefficient of x is negative 5. What is my coefficient on x right now?
5.
5. How do I make it a negative? What do I multiply by?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. Okay. So what's negative 1 times 5x?
Negative 5.
Negative 5x. What's negative 1 times negative 7y?
Positive 7.
Positive 7y. And what is negative 1 times 11?
Positive 11.
It's positive 11 times negative 1. So it's going to be negative 11.
So negative and positive and negative.
Okay? What do we multiply there? What do we multiply by? Negative 1. All right, now we have, multiply this equation, 10x minus 4y equals 14, so the coefficient of y is negative 8. So what's our coefficient on y right now? Positive or negative? Negative. So you have to include the sign that's in front of it. And we're wanting it to be negative 8, so what do I need to multiply by? So if I have negative 4,
Positive 2.
positive 2. Okay, what is 2 times 10x? What's 2 times 10? 20. So 20, drop down our x. 2 times negative 4? Negative 8, drop down our y. 2 times 17 is 34. All right, so here we multiplied by 2. All right, now we're going to look at how to solve a system using elimination when the variables have different coefficients. So we have equation A and B. Elena, to start solving this system, Elena wrote 4x plus y equals 1 and 4x plus 8y equals 36. How did she get from here to here? Which equation changed, top or bottom? The bottom one. So we changed the bottom one here. We look here. What'd she do to it? What'd she multiply it by? 4. Okay, multiplied it by 4 to get this equation down here. Then she just did what we use for elimination. So Elena's first 2 moves, her first move was to multiply by 4. Then the difference between here and here was just that she put the subtraction sign, right? Subtracted the second equation. From the first. Why did she multiply by 4? Why was that her first step? So it's going to be because she wanted the x to have the same coefficient. Okay, and she subtracted the second equation from the first because she wanted to eliminate the x variable. All right, when you are ready, go to the next page. Actually, let's stay here because the next step is to finish solving the equations to where we show that we have x is -1 and y is 5. So we're looking for x equals -1, y equals 5. So what do we need to do to her system right here to solve for y? What's attached to my y? What do I need to do to get it isolated? Divide. We're going to divide by -7 on both sides. Y equals, what's -35 divided by -7? 5. Okay, how do I find my x value? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Do you guys remember using substitution to solve for variables? So we're going to take our y value and substitute it in to one of our original equations. So I am going to plug it in for, I'm going to do the bottom one. We're going to do x plus 2 times 5 equals 9. 2 times 5 is 10. I'm going to drop down everything else. Subtract 10 from both sides and get x equals -1. So I got my two equations, or my two variables that I was looking for, what it has on the other side. So that would prove that those are the solutions. If you show your work and you do the work well, you will get partial credit no matter what. Okay, so that's the end of this lesson. And we're going to go ahead and start lesson 17.